So a busy weekend of Easter football. Wednesday back in action against Middlesbrough and hoping to get a result to get them back on track. In fact, not just a result. After the performance at Stoke on Friday, just really hoping for a good performance. Wednesday made changes for the visit to Middlesbrough. 3 changes in the back 4 actually. And when the team were announced, I'm reading it and you're trying to work out who's where, and I'm like, is it a 4-4-2 with Windass on right? Yes, I'm on left. Pato and Smithy up front. Couldn't work out what was happening. Then I'm like, is Pato playing centre half? Anyway, when the team was announced, I was wrong in every sense. So Wednesday went with Charles in goal, a back 4 of Patterson, Charles, Otugbeyo and Johnson. The real surprise, Jan Valery coming into a sort of deep line midfield position with Ingleson and Bannon in the more advanced roles. Michael Smith up front, with Jeddy Gassama on the left and Josh Windass on a sort of inside right position. Good start from Wednesday, using the ball well, trying to get off to a quick start. Bannon had a shot that was tipped wide of the post, and then from that corner the ball was sort of recycled wide and Charles chipped the ball in, Otugbeyo in round the back stick, offside, but good intention from Wednesday early on, which is something that they needed. As I said, very sloppy performance on Friday, and I think they really knew they had to get the fans on board early doors today, and they did that. Equally, Middlesbrough obviously up there looking for the playoff spots still. Neat and tidy on the ball, and when they broke and they got a little bit of zip in possession, you could see why they were up there. And 2 minutes after probably Wednesday's best spell, they took the lead. It's a little bit sloppy down our inside left position. Marvin Johnson sort of recovers it and tries to flick it away. He can do better, but he's off balance, he's leaning backwards. I don't think he can quite get the purchase on the pass he's hoping for. They're nipping, a couple of little 1-2s at edge at box. As I said, very slick play from then. And Valery, this is, Aziz gets in on the outside of Valery, and it's a lovely finish win with outside at boat. And I think that role that Valery was in there today, I think, was to keep an eye on Azaz. That's the way they lined up, the way we lined up. That was clearly the intention. So after 10 minutes, I'm thinking, well, that's almost gone at it shitter straight away. Timing of the goal as well. 10 minutes they scored. Now Wednesday and the Wednesday Supporters Trust, backed by other Wednesday groups, were asking people to turn their back on the pitch on 10 minutes to signify 10 years of Chancery and, 10 years of large mismanagement, financial mismanagement of the club. Hard to see really what the take-up was there. I would say there were a good number in the north, and hard to tell with a cop because the cop looked half empty, if I'm honest. I don't think that were people particularly staying away in protest. I think, bank holiday weekend folks have got a lot on. And the South Stand, the average age is about 400 in there, isn't it? So perhaps it's more difficult for folks to stand up over there, It's a joke. It's a joke. Chuck Werther's at me. One thing that did stick out for me early doors in match, there were a little stoppage in play. Somebody went down. The pitch looked absolutely immaculate, and a huge credit to Lee Jackson, who's the new groundsman that's coming, because not only does it look good for the time of year, because, God, when our younger pitchers at this time of year had it, not only that, but consider the state it was in less than a month ago. Fantastic job he's done there, and it would allowing both teams to move the ball about. There was some real zip on there, so it'll make a good game of football, the condition of the pitch. Look at me, Mr. Positive. Wednesday played some nice stuff. Obviously Bannon back in midfield, he's getting things moving. There was one absolutely wonderful ball with outside at boat, lobbed out onto right wing. Wednesday were looking good, far better than Friday. There's an intensity to it. The young lad Otugbeyo, he's coming at the back. Didn't think he looked out of place. I thought that's probably the best performance I've seen from him in a Wednesday shirt so far. And then they get a penalty. I'm not going to say it's against the run of play because I thought it was quite even that first half. Both teams having a go at it. It was an entertaining game. I'll put it that way. Both teams having a go, getting shots in, attacking, getting crosses in. Compared it to the absolute dirge on Friday, chalk and cheese. They get a penalty. It's a lad Hackney who looks about 12. Little run down left-hand side, good skill. Sold Ingleson an absolute dummy. He's left him with twisted blood there, but he gets to the byline, gets round it. Ingleson's doing well because the one thing about Ingleson, and he's done this all afternoon today, he never gives up, that lad. I've got a lot of time for his attitude. Gets back, he's closing the ground up, starts leaning in with shoulder, which he's every right to do. And that lad grabs Ingleson in a headlock, wrestles him to the floor, and obviously you're waiting for either free kick or ref to play on because ball's going to Wednesday possession. And he blows for a penalty. It's absolutely shocking. It's absolutely shocking. And I said in my video on Friday, I'm going to stop talking about referees because it's not their fault and blah, 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 and I've got to be in my bonnet. But that's an absolutely shocking decision. I'm going to say it's soft as shite, but it's not even about it being soft. He's literally got him in an headlock, wrestled him to the floor. It's a complete joke. Little bit of a double take about who's taking their penalty. I think they do the dummy thing. A lot of teams seem to do it now. One player makes out he's going to take it. I don't know if it's to make keeper check his name's on his water bottle and then someone else comes up at last minute. But they swap takers at last minute. Lad steps up. It's not actually a bad penalty, but a fantastic save from young Pierce Charles. Gets down, but more impressive than the save, the really, really, really impressive thing, the speed he gets back up. Seen plenty of keepers over the years get down, make a good save, and then they're still down when rebound gets tucked in, But he's down, makes a save, back up, another brilliant reaction save, and then one at lads gets in and makes a block. Absolutely brilliant goalkeeping. And I'm delighted for the lad because he's made his cock up on Friday. And as I said then, he's a young lad, 19 years old? Making his way in the game, learning his trade. He's going to make mistakes. You've got to back him. You can't on one hand be saying, chuck kids in, and then when kids are chucked in going, well, fucking wank. You've got to back kids. They're learning. They're not the finished article, are they? Was it Kevin Keegan who said goalkeepers aren't born until they're 30? Brilliant reflex save there and a double save to boot. Brilliant, and absolutely delighted for lad. Wednesday's still pushing up. Windass is playing in off the right, but he is getting in a lot of central positions. And he's had a good game today, busy. They all have. They've all worked their socks off today. That's the one thing. I know it's a basic requirement. I know when you cross the white line, it should come as a basic, everybody's going to give 100%. But sometimes it doesn't happen. Today they have. And Windass, he's really give it. He's come inside, a brilliant run down the middle, and he's done that all afternoon, get the ball and run and be direct. And I talked about this with the big lad who played up front for Stoke on Friday. I don't think he was a Gallagher. I don't think he was a brilliant footballer, but he was a real handful because he was direct. And Windass has done that today, won a free kick, which keeper got his hand to. Another good run where the ball gets recycled out to Marv and he chips it in. Keeper comes, misses it, free kick. That seems to be a thing these days as well, Goalkeeper drops a ball, free kick. Years back, goalkeeper drops a ball, unlucky son, should have punched it. Do you know what I mean? Leave the refs, Jim, leave the refs. Probably 2 minutes after that free kick and this little spell of play, another really good break from Wednesday. Middlesbrough had been on the attack. It came out. This is the one when Bannon sprayed that wonderful ball outside at boot. Windass sprinted away down the right hand side, drilled across into the box. We couldn't quite get anybody at the end of it, but Ingleson, and again I talk about Ingleson's work rate, and he's got a never say die attitude, you know, of trying to keep a ball in play or close down a 60-40 in opposition's favour. He don't see how it was dead. Keeps it alive, pings a ball back in. There's some height on it, by the way. It comes down at back stick, and Windass so unlucky. Brilliant technique, half volley as it's coming down with snow on, drills it, keeps it so low, really clean strike right across goal, and I thought for all world that were nestling in bottom corner. And I've got to be honest, for the skill it took and the application, it deserved a goal, to be honest with you. Just before the break, another good opportunity for Middlesbrough. I mean, they'll be ruining the penalty miss, but they still kept having a go. You know, they were still looking for that second goal. They weren't sat back and all trying to cling on to a 1-0. Bannon played a blind square pass just outside our box, you know, very uncharacteristic of Baz to do that. Really good break. Ball cut back into the box, and their lad's in a brilliant position. He should probably score. He hits the shot. Charles gets down. It's a really, really good save again. Now, I've heard one or two people say, you know, it's a poor shot. You know, I've seen one or two at Middlesbrough supporters actually giving him a bit of stick. Got to put that in corner. Sometimes they're harder to save when they're closer in. You know, if they're in corner and you're on dive, you can get your arm extended out. When it's 2 foot to the side of your body, it's very hard to drop onto them and get your hands onto it. You know, if you watch Match at Day, watch Football League show, look how many goals are 2 foot either side at goalkeeper, because they're incredibly hard to get down to. Half the time you see them having to just put a leg out, you know. Great save again. Some people are saying, you know, it's a redemption arc for the lad after what happened on Friday. That's a one-off cock-up, you know. But he has had a really, really good game today. Another terrific save. Masaba came on at half-time for Gassama. He was limping a little bit. I think he took a whack about 30 minutes into the game. Free kick, which should have been a free kick, sorry. Didn't get it, but got brought down there. Masaba comes on. Been an hit and miss season for him. He's had his own injury problems. There were a couple of moments where he looked rusty with his control or final delivery, but it did look as good as I've seen him recently. He was being direct. He was trying to get outside the fullback, which were good to see him, and pin them back in. And again, as I've talked about with Windass, that willingness to get on the ball and drive at teams. You know, it's a defender's worst nightmare. And he's done that this afternoon. He's come on. He's had a good impact into the game. You know, not outstanding. Like I said, he's been in and out of the team. Had a few injuries, and I thought he's had a good impact on the game today. So that were really pleasing to see, because you look at last season, one of our better players, and he's a bit of a drift. So nice to see him getting a bit of traction again. In fact, he had an instant impact. You know, he got away down the left-hand side, like a little 1-2 with Ingleson. There's a cut-back, Windass fired a shot in. Again, another good save from their keeper. A little stop-in play, because they broke at pace. And that was a little key today. Every time either Wednesday or Middlesbrough was having a decent spell of attack, the other team were breaking really quick, really slick. And as I said, it made for an entertaining game of football. But on this particular one, Conway gets away, somebody comes in to close him down, he essentially falls over. And he's holding his face, ref plays on, he's holding his face, ref stops play, physio comes on, straps his wrist up. My face. I just put a strap on that, I'm alright. I don't know what's happening. 53 minutes, Wednesday back in the game, good play again. It's a sort of counter move. We advance through the middle. Valerie does well actually, drives on, puts Pato in down the right. Lovely cross. In fact, Pato's one of them players, isn't he? You know, he's not He's not a silky winger by any means. A couple of times today he ran off and he forgot a ball, but he's put in today, I would say, 4 or 5 really, really good quality crosses that if a more natural winger had put him in, I think people would have been raving about. Lovely cross for Smith. His header hits post, gets sort of recycled out. Cut back by Masaba, again, getting in there very advanced down the left-hand side. Cuts it, but Ingleson arrives, sort of scuff shot across goal. Windass alive to it, sliding in at back post like prime Gary Lineker. Terrific goal. Armstrong then comes on for Ingleson. I thought it was a bit harsh on Ingleson. I thought he's had a really, really busy game today, and I'm old-fashioned, I'm a dinosaur, but I do like to see people working hard. I do. I know we've got a football to be entertained. We've got a football, we want to see players with great skill, and we want to see people who can beat 2 and 3 men and curl shots in from 20 yards, but I do like to see somebody work the bollocks off as well, and he's done that today. Like I said, it's attitude, It's not just about the graft. That does make me applaud and whatever. I do like to see hard work, but that graft itself is actually mental. It's someone who's got the drive and the determination to keep going. And as I said, he's somebody who a ball's never dead to him. He had a really good game. Bit surprised he came off. But Danny obviously wanted to keep a defensive midfielder on there, whilst at the same time adding Armstrong's attacking ability in there. So I think Svante, tactically was always probably going to be the one that came off to make that switch. It's fucking somebody outside. Shitting myself then. Look at there's somebody banging around an outside gate. Anyway, rolling pin, torch, went out. Badger. I'm actually right pleased because Badger used to come all the time to our house. And then there's loads of concreting going on all around, neighbourhood recently. And I thought, Badgers, it's probably changed their roots after hundreds of years, So, other than terrifying me to death, right pleased to see he's back. I'm a bit out of breath again. Been a lot of scrouts about recently, you know what I mean? So you are ready. Not that I would hit anybody, officer. Talked in Stoke game, get back on track. Talked in Stoke game about the lack of application. That's the thing that upset me. Because you'll play badly over a season, you're not always going to play well, you're not always going to have nice football. And there's that old cliche, ain't there? Good teams are teams that win when they play badly and blah, blah, blah. But it's not just about that. It's about playing badly and not having the application. If I can take us losing, if I can see lads have given everything and it hasn't been good enough, I can take us losing if, we've been completely dominated by a better team, but I know we've done everything that we can to be the best that we can be. And against Stoke, I didn't see that. That's why I was so upset with that not result, but that performance. It was a performance that upset me rather than the result, to be honest with you. But today, effort, commitment, and probably no highlights that morning. 70th minute, Wednesday's on attack. And they got a really good break, 4 on 3. Streaking away that inside left channel. And there was a streak down pitch, and I had to do a double take, and it was Callum Patterson getting back, being up for I think it was a corner or a free kick there, box. He streaked back 70 yards, absolutely going like the clappers, to take up a position which allowed Charles to come out and meet their man. So he's hugely affected that move without actually being the one who gets the footing. But that's what I'm on about, up here. Mental strength, that never giving up, never say die, that attitude. And I love out like that, mate. I love out like that. 10 minutes after that, a really good chance for Wednesday to try and get that winner. Lovely ball from Marvin Johnson back in the side today. Drilled it across to the far side. Terrific pass. Callum Patterson takes it down. Again, it's a delicious cross into the box. It gets in there, it's begging. Young Ottegbell gets in there. 6-yard box. Keeper flapping like a seagull. Nobody anywhere near him. Eyebrows it hard up, just gets eyebrows on it out past far stick. And I don't think he realised how much time he'd got. Any sort of half decent connection, that's in front of the cup, and he was happy days. And I think it's only sort of when he was getting back up off floor that he realised how much time he'd got. It was a wonderful cross, and really it should have been a goal. Bless him. 2 minutes to go, Wednesday get the winner. Again, pinged out to Patterson on the right hand side, head up. This time a nice low cross. That's what I've liked today. I've suddenly twigged what it is. I've been sat here rambling. It's the variation of crosses. That's what it is. Because sometimes you get players, and even top flight, and I've seen England players do it, and they always put same delivery in. And if it's not working, they still keep putting same delivery in. This is where Marvin Johnson has been good since he's been at Wednesday. He's varied his delivery over the years. Different ball from Patterson, gets his head up, low one, across that sort of 6-yard line. Middlesbrough's got 2 or 3 players in there. I think it's Smithy who's in close attendance with him. I think they've actually got too many in there, daft as it sounds. They're sort of getting each other's way. Bounces off a couple of shins. Masaba's in there, 4 inches out, knocks it home. Gives Wednesday the lead. Delighted for him. As I said, he's had his troubles this season, not always been in form. Then he's had, some injuries. So delighted for him to get on pitch and score. And hopefully that's a step for him coming back, looking towards next season. Not all over though. 8 minutes injury time. Still time for Middlesbrough to get an equaliser. And they nearly did it. There was a bit of pinball around Wednesday box. Nobody could quite get a clear hook on it and get it away. It gets knocked into their lad, and he's absolutely clear one-on-one. Maybe he should strike it better, but fantastic save again from Charles. Absolutely brilliant save. Conway gets up on rebound, smashes that underside at bar. He's looking for Jeff Hurst. Comes this side at line, cleared it, and then Charles is on it again. But he's had a fantastic game, that young lad, isn't it? And people talk about he's only little. That's Owl going in back garden. I'm bleeding Farthing in wood here today. People talk about Charles being small. He's not that small. He's a young lad. He's nada. That's what it is. I were nada like that when I were. You bastards. I were nada. People are. I can remember one day going round to my mate's house. Is he coming out? And his mum were there. I was about 20. And she went, "Oh, you filled that." Oh, I know that's why I filled down it wrong way, but it does, you get to your late teens, early 20s, you start filling about a bit, and he'll fill out and he'll be stronger, and you will see that over the next couple of years, if he's still here. Hopefully he will be. But yeah, he's not that small. I think people are making far too much of that, Fantastic game, man of the match, easily my man of the match. But there was other good performances in there as well, which was great to see. Because against Stoke, man of the match, I couldn't really pick one, and for all the wrong reasons. Today, man of the match, clearly the young lad in net for me. However, I could look at several other players and say, they've had a really good game. I thought Windass were really good today. Strong driving runs. Pato's put a right shift in that right-hand side, and then, probably surprised by putting some really quality crosses in. Should that surprise me? Probably shouldn't surprise me. I mean, he played full-back for Hearts, didn't he? He played wing-back for Cardiff, so it probably shouldn't surprise me. Young Ottogbow at the back. I thought he's come in, not looked out of place at all. Thought he's had a really good game. As I said, Ingleson, his drive, his work and commitment. And Smithy's really put himself about. They've all, as a team, and the lads who's come on, even as far as Chalabar's come on with, I don't know, a minute to go, 2 minutes to go. Come on and steamed in and won an absolutely brilliant tackle. And that's all you want to see. They've put a shift in. They've won, I think I saw the stat after the game, they won 71% at aerial duels today. Getting up there, putting your head in there. They've got shots on target. We've had so many shots today. I mean, compared to Friday, absolute chalk and cheese. Chalk and cheese. Really, really pleased with effort. Manager had a bit of a popper after the last game, and it's, how are they going to respond? Are they going to have face on? But they haven't. They've come out and they've said, "Oh, all right, yeah, but we've probably let ourselves down a bit with that," and that's good to see that sort of resolve to put things right on park. That's all you want to see, is knowing that your players are giving it everything for the cause, and they've done that. Whether they'll get paid for the troubles on Friday, we'll have to see. Don't mention how political. Anyway, Wednesday 2, Middlesbrough 1. Really good result for us, but more importantly, a really good performance.